Right, let's get started. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everyone. It's so exciting. It is 2023 here as well. Oh, yeah, very warm welcome to you. My name is Pooja Gupta. I'm a senior outbound product manager with the Unified Employee Experience product team at ServiceNow. This is the team that creates all the front end experiences from an employee standpoint. I'm joined by Smriti Gupta, who will also be on the call as a panelist and taking questions in the Q&A. She's another outbound product manager on our team. Um, in as you can expect in any conversation with a product team, we may talk about something that is in the roadmap. So I just want to bring up the safe harbor notice. So please make decisions accordingly. These are forward-looking statements and are subject to change. Now, this is just one of the events that are being done from an employee center perspective. We have an abundance of events, everything from webinars to academy sessions to office hours. We will be sharing a link for this on chat. Please explore this and make sure you are plugged in with us and are taking full use of these sessions that we have made available for you. I'll be talking about these sessions at the time of closing these webinars as well and giving you more context on these. But feel free to explore these meanwhile. A little bit more of housekeeping. There is a Q&A panel. Please make full use of that Q&A panel. Like I mentioned, we have panelists, we have additional folks on the call who will be taking questions and answering questions while I talk throughout the session, and we will be pausing for additional Q&A towards the end. When you send your questions, please introduce yourself. We would love to know who you are, and it also makes it easy to follow up if there's any unanswered question. And if the question was submitted not as anonymous, we would know who to reach out to. Um, yeah, and the session will be recorded and shared on community. So don't worry, you will have all the material available from this, like including the PowerPoint slides. So yeah, it does take a couple of days or so to have the recording available. So please be patient. And last but not the least, after the session ends, you will be prompted to fill out a short survey. We really appreciate your feedback. We literally read every single feedback item that we receive and try to incorporate them in our future sessions. So please fill out the survey. To get us all warmed up, there is a quick poll. We'll just launch that right now. And essentially, what we are trying to do is assess how familiar you are with Employee Center. This is a pretty basic webinar. This is the first one that you would probably um, uh, like. This is you. I'm expecting a lot of you on the call to be very early in your journey, but we don't get into the product that much. So I can bring up some additional details if there are people who are not very familiar. Give you a minute more to answer. All right, let me just start the next poll. I'm seeing a lot of you are not quite familiar, which is what I expected. And if there are any basic questions, please feel free to put it on the Q&A panel and I'll answer them. Next question. The next question is about where you are in your employee center journey. So have you deployed? Is there another department in your organization that has deployed? Or you are currently deploying? Give you a few more seconds. I'm seeing the majority, like more than 60%, have not deployed, which is what I expected. That's good. You're at the right place. All right, so I'm going to end this poll and share the results. So those who have deployed, this is this will not the webinar will probably not uh, help you um, move forward, but we will have certain things that I'll talk about which you can look in the hindsight and then see if you want to build into your plans currently. For those who have not deployed, you are literally at the right place. We will talk deeply about how to make sure when you start deploying you're successful with Employee Center. Now, just a quick introduction to Employee Center. So, Employee Center is ServiceNow's new actionable digital front end for all workflows, for enterprise service delivery, for employee communications, employee engagement. Whether you have IT services and you want to deliver those to your employees, it's HR services, workplace services, legal, Employee Center is the solution for it. From a value perspective, it helps increase self-service because it's a portal that people go on and use and are able to get things done directly from the portal. So it helps increase self-service. It drives employee engagement. Employees are more aware of what's going on in the organization. They are more plugged in with the communications. They are better able to and faster able to complete their tasks. So they're more engaged, and it helps improve employee productivity. Getting things done, getting help is fast. So it ultimately adds into their productivity because they can get back to their work more easily. Now, when you think about Employee Center, it is designed to scale. Majority of our customers or organizations typically have a single department service delivery portal. Employee Center can be used for that. So if you only have IT services and you want to use Employee Center is your solution. And the same product, without having to be redesigned, can be enhanced to act like an enterprise service delivery. So once you have Employee Center deployed for one department, adding additional department is not rebuilding the portal. It is literally adding additional taxonomy topics. So move from single department to enterprise department is easy. And the same portal with all the different capabilities that we are creating from a communication standpoint, from integrations with external systems, make it easy to become like modern intranet. I've heard from many of our customers that once they have deployed Employee Center Pro, which is our premium portal for Employee Center, their company intranet feels redundant. Like, why would I go there when I'm already going here to get all the things done? It just seems like an additional portal, and I've heard that so many times. So, Employee Center essentially designs is designed to scale from a very siloed single department to becoming like the front end or the employee destination side without really making too many changes. So you'll never have to redeploy the portal. And that was one of our goals when we designed Employee Center. Now, not a lot of people are familiar, but we have this asset called Success Map that we create for a lot of our major products. This is a screenshot of what that success map looks like. We will be sharing the link for this. I would say download it, keep it in front of you if you are deploying Employee Center. Now, to be honest, the success map will not give you everything, but it will give you the right buckets that you should be thinking about as you are thinking about your deployment. So if you would see on the left-hand side of this, it's a little small. So feel free to use the downloaded version, and we will go through these anyway. If you see on the left, there are buckets for vision and value. There's a bucket for governance. There's a bucket for having your foundational services. Thinking about skills and expertise. So even if you just think about all of these, you are sort of setting up for success. It talks about when you are deploying, what are the main things that you really have to think about. Once you have deployed, what are the things that you would need to maintain it, to enhance it, to upgrade it. And what's next from here? Like adding more departments, adding more services, or even expanding from Employee Center Standard to Employee Center Pro. All of these things, which are typically multiple different conversations, having it in one view is extremely powerful as you are planning for your deployment. So in the webinar today, like that, in our time in the next 45 minutes together, what I'll do, I'll pick up certain sections from the success map and like dive a little deeper on it. So the success map in tandem with this webinar will give you a lot of the things that you need. The first one is defining employee experience, vision, and value. Now, no surprises here. Um, you cannot like the product technology that you are deploying needs to tie in with a vision that the organization is trying to achieve. And um, when when we are deploying the portal, one of the things that we highly recommend is to maintain the focus on the employee. It is not something that is being done to serve the service delivery organization. It is for the employee. So you have to keep the employee needs, employee pain points central to how you are thinking about your vision. So what this visual here is typically something that we highlight when we are talking about our own vision. We typically always start from this. Like if you would see currently, and I'm pretty sure the same would be true for your organization. Employee has to go to five or more applications or experiences to raise their request, to ask for help, to read an article or complete their task. And they're confused often that, which one is that I have to start with. And even if even if you start with one, um, it's not always a good experience, and people have to sometimes spend hours trying to find something to just like really just move forward. So solving for that, the vision over here laid is we want to have a single unified experience that that knows who they are, where they are coming from, is designed for the employee, and literally is the place where they go for getting tasks, for communications, for getting data on like about them or their peers. So that's the vision that we have articulated over here, and that's something similar is what you should work towards in your organization. Once you have a once you have the vision, you should work with stakeholders across the organization. One of the value propositions of Employee Center and one of the key problem that it is solving is that it's designed to be multi departmental. So no, like employees should not have to think that this is served by IT or workplace. If it's a TV broken on in my office space, is that IT or is that workplace services? There's a software broken, which is actually where I do my benefits. Should I go to HR or should I go to IT? Um, Questions like this are um, are not something what employees should think about. So that's where the central experience helps. An employee center is designed for that. But a common mistake that people do is like they don't talk to their peers across departments, and they are implementing employee center in just one department without speaking with them, with the other departments. And what happens is the other department would again start evaluating employee centers separately, and then thinking about, oh, we already are deploying employee center in HR. Can I use it? Should I be using separately? And they are pretty lagging in like the whole project gets a little delayed because new stakeholders are getting onboarded later on. Or what happens is one department would design it completely based on their own needs. And then when the additional department comes in, it's like, well, now it is all HR and I can't fit in here, or it is all IT. I don't know how to fit in the HR. So start that conversation that, hey, we are deploying Employee Center. The value from Employee Center comes by actually being an enterprise portal or being a unified portal across the organization, and you start building buy-in across stakeholders to eventually get on to the same unified experience. Now, I've seen that organizations don't always start with a unified experience. It may be that one department is more mature and more ready in terms of resources or maturity to get on employee center, and the other department is like, we will catch up. But at least now, because you have spoken with them, they're not building a new portal experience separate from employee center. So bringing everyone together in the vision and planning together in terms of how we will achieve that vision as an enterprise is absolutely critical to the success with employee center. Again, this is not surprising. Even when I introduced Employee Center, I started with, here's the business outcomes that we will realize. When you will realize, when you are trying to get buy-in from everyone, one of the ways to really accelerate getting that buy-in is getting executive sponsorship. And I've seen organizations that unify quickly are the ones that have a CXO level person focusing on employee experience, which is pretty common these days. But one of the things that gets the CXO level focused on employee experience is having really well defined business outcomes. And having those business outcomes tied with tangible value, with actually quantified in terms of dollar figures, or whatever currency you are using to measure the value. And we actually had an exercise during Knowledge last month, where a bunch of customers came in and they were trying to talk about how they build a business case for Employee Center. And the examples that you see over here are certain things that they said that they are looking to do to quantify the value, because ultimately they all agreed, yes, just verbal value or qualified value is helpful, but you really need to quantify the value to really get the approvals or the attention from executives. So some of the things that are highlighted over here are savings through portal consolidation. So like having 5 departments maintaining each of their individual portals, is there is maintenance cost associated with it. There is technical cost associated with it. Um, and then with Employee Center, you're not just sunsetting it is separate service portals, but then you can also have better tie-ins with applications that are outside of ServiceNow. So you don't have to maintain a separate point solution portal for each of those applications. So you're saving massively through portal consolidation. And then the biggest value is increasing self-service, and you are increasing self-service by shifting left. So you will still probably have tickets raised. You'll probably have more tickets raised, but these tickets are not being raised by someone uh, um, calling and then someone making a request over the phone. Um, it is easier for the agents to also resolve these. So there is a reduced cost per ticket as you are res- having more people go through the portal. And then productivity is often something that people say we don't know how to quantify. You can't put a dollar figure. So instead of saying productivity increase, it's easier to quantify lost productivity cost. Like there is a limit to how much you can increase the productivity of a person, but you can put a figure value against like productivity lost. So that works better. And then there are some additional other things that are highlighted over here, and I won't go through them for now. But quantify the value, like business outcomes, yes, but you need to have literally metrics that you would use to quantify the value. And then a little something that I'll touch upon later on is how you will measure this. So like, yes, this is initially like a lot of people, what they do is they quantify this and like uh, they um, they highlight it during the business case, but they never go back after the product is implemented to go back and actually measure it to make sure you are delivering on the business case. So I'll tell you a dashboard that ServiceNow has that helps you measure some of the success metrics over here. Again, like I'm saying, qualitative value is good. Um, um, Quantitative value is good, but you still have to have qualitative value also highlighted. So getting quotes from employees, and doing some research and like literally getting anecdotes of the challenges they have faced is also powerful. Now, the second thing that I want to highlight is when we say deploy employee centered and like all of these business outcomes will be realized and all that, employee center is the experience layer. It is something that is omni-channel. It's designed to to be personalized, relevant, and all of that. But powering this modern omni-channel experience is ServiceNow's workflow engine. So when we say service delivery in the left bucket in the image here, you need to have services on IT or whatever other departments. And you need to make sure like those processes associated in service delivery are automated. So you need to have invested in catalog and knowledge. Similarly, when we say employee center is your systems of action, you need to have AI search or like tasks created. Content experiences, again, you need to have the right kind of content created, campaigns built, content built to like just create those or guidance built to create those experiences for employees. So there's a bunch of different capabilities that literally make your employee centered experience powerful. Things like knowledge and case management, requested case management, knowledge management, virtual agent, AI search, ML algorithms, integrations with systems like SharePoint, and so on. These are what make your employee center powerful. So in isolation, just having a great looking portal is not going to be helpful if under the hood of that portal you don't have those capabilities installed. So I would say as you are thinking about employee center deployment, you would want to take a look like whether you have invested correctly in, especially in catalog and knowledge. And make sure when you're deploying employee center, you're also thinking about AI search. I've seen a lot of organizations deploy employee center, but not do AI search. I think the search experience that you would get on employee center is very different if you invest in AI search. So definitely invest in that. Third piece is um, it's 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 easy to deploy employee center, but you still need a product team. You need someone who is responsible in driving it. Now, some of this could be an implementation partner, but I do want to give you certain personas that that you must ensure are feeding into your entire end-to-end design of the product of employee center deployment from the beginning till the end. Uh, so one is, of course, your implementers or the platform owners. These are the ones who would deploy employee centered. If you're working with a partner, which we recommend, just because they bring years and years of experience of like deploying portals like this and deploying it accurately, I do recommend those. Um, but you can, of course, deploy it on your own. Um, that is one persona. They are the ones who will be technically actually doing the deployment, testing it, upgrading it, resolving technical issues. If you're working with a partner, you still need people in house to be able to resolve the technical issues after once the partner has finished the deployment. So make sure you're thinking about that. Second piece, like I said, a lot of what you get on Employee Center depends on what you have built under hood. So you do need your service and process owners identified to identify opportunities for automation. See what they can change or what needs to change when you are thinking about from the overarching experience lens that needs to be built as you are deploying this portal. So having your process and service owners involved is important. The others are content owners. These are catalog owners, knowledge owners, and also communication content owners, because these are the ones who are kind of feeding into what kind of controls you want in place with Employee Center. We'll talk about governance shortly. I'm a knowledge author. I need to understand how topics are structured, how they tie in with the categories I have in my knowledge base, um, um, what kind of rights I will have on this portal, um, all of those. The content authors are super critical in feeding, in making sure how content is positioned in portal aligns with how they are thinking about their content strategy. So having them involved early is good. And no surprises, you need UX experts. I think having an in-house US expert or working with an enterprise like team who is focused on employee experience broadly is very helpful. These UX experts, I mean, they're not just designing the look and feel of the portal, but they are also conducting things like user testing to really understand employee needs and challenges. Later on in the presentation, I will point you towards a couple of different academy sessions where we will touch upon how you should think about design. And one of the main things that we will talk about is user testing over there. So you will hear more about it. The UX experts are also the ones who will be more deeply looking into the metrics. That again, it's not necessary the business case success metrics. These are more how what people are doing on your portal, where are they going, and literally using that data to improve the experience that we are creating on the portal. So it's the job of the UX expert to literally own that metric and make sense of that metric and make good recommendations on how we can improve the design. So please do invest in UX experts. And then, of course, you need an executive sponsor. Having an executive sponsor just makes it easy to define the vision, to like get buy-in for the vision, and resolve any organizational challenges. Sometimes it can be challenging to get like really big stakeholders like the head of IT, head of HR to all really work together. Having an executive sponsor helps. So focus on getting CXO level executive sponsor buy-in for a product like this that can literally change the way you deliver services within the organization. And then this is not a project. This is a product. Like you once you deploy Employee Center, it's not ending. So deploying Employee Center is a small project, but uh, if it is looking at Employee Center and making sure it is bringing value, so that doesn't stop at just go live. So think of it as a product and have a product owner defined for Employee Center. And they are the ones who are literally plugged in with the product team. They are building their expertise. They are looking at at the organization's vision and continuously assessing whether we are delivering on that business case and the vision that we have stated in the beginning, and how we can further enhance what we are able to achieve. So you need a product owner. Now, the other thing I'll say, as you think about all these roles, you should think about representation from all the BUs or different units that are going to be in your organization, um, in your portal. So, like I'll give you an example. So, if you're thinking about content authors, the way content is managed in IT may be very different from way content is managed in HR, or even what content is available in IT may be different from what content is available in HR. So you need to have people represented from both IT and HR to make sure you are actually incorporating the needs for both IT content authors as well as HR content authors when you are designing the experience. So having representation from all major BUs that are going to be on the portal is extremely important. And as you have more BUs join in, you would want to add on to it. Okay, so The product team is different from how you govern. It will kind of blend into governance once you start being more mature with your employee center deployment. So thinking about what your governance model could potentially look like, or you would want it to shape, it's an important discussion. And like I said, it's going to be a journey. It's not something that you will figure out from day one. Maybe the day one it is just a small product team, and as you scale, as you do more, as you get more mature, it starts evolving into a different organizational model, which is what you need to start thinking about from the beginning. So a couple of things there. um, you should always have a central team, and this visual that I have over here is almost it's the visual of how typically we have seen ServiceNow platform teams operate. So you have a central team, and there are different lines of business who are asking for features, capabilities, and the platform team is literally looking at them from an software development lifecycle perspective, and prioritizing the request and working with ServiceNow to deploy upgrades and see where they need to customize and so on. They are also the one testing and making sure performance is not an issue, and things are working as they should be working from a technology standpoint. Um, what we have been recommending most customers is that the portal, as you start doing more, could be one of the things that the platform team owns. So especially if you have a mature platform team with a center of excellence, portal is definitely something that they should own from a technology perspective. And all the other lines of business or BUs are working with this central team to to get their updates done. Now, this doesn't mean that the BUs don't have any rights to make any changes. If you would see that central circle and see on the right hand side the two people over there, there's an IT admin, there's an HR admin. So again, the platform team would have representation from different lines of business to make sure it's there's no bottleneck on that platform team to be able to prioritize. There is some flexibility for the businesses to own the space and make changes. When it comes to content management, we should definitely think about a federated content management. You could potentially have a central content delivery team, and this central team is defining content standards, content templates. They are deciding, whether they're sending the rules or guidelines for what should be a microsite versus what should be a knowledge article. They are the ones who are deciding what communication content should go on the portal homepage, what mobile content should be there. They are probably also managing campaigns which are run across different pages, across different channels. So there is a central team that owns content. Now, this could be the corporate communication team, especially if if you have intranet use cases on it. It could be corporate communications along with small groups with representation from like different BUs, which again own. So there is like a set of people who own IT communications, a set of people who own HR communications, and they are all sitting in this central content delivery team. So have a central content delivery team to set the guidelines that will be followed across the portal. But you would still have, like when you think about content, the other content apart from communications is catalog items, it's knowledge articles. You would still have content authors, and like owners who would be sitting in the BUs. So you would, as you can see in the visual over here, the cylinders are the catalog item and knowledge bases, and they're literally sitting within the BUs. And you will also have dynamic topic owners. So, like if you would think about what capabilities are offered in Employee Center, one of the things is distributed ownership of topics. So, overarching taxonomy may be owned by the central content delivery team, but you can have topics owned uh, or topic level ownership defined at department level. So let's say my topics like HR, benefits, all of those are owned within some topic owners within HR. So that's a good way to just distribute ownership, and these topic owners can decide what content is put on those topics. And that content need not be just from the BU that they are from. So if I'm a topic owner of an IT topic, I'm looking across different departments and seeing what content is relevant for that topic. They own the topic, they don't own just the content. Please feel free to ask questions on especially this slide, because I know this is a conversation we're having with many of our customers. All right. As you start thinking about your deployment more closely, we recommend following a crawl, walk, run approach. And honestly, you can have crawl, walk, run approach not just at the overarching use case level for employee center, or departments level for employee center. You can have it for the how deep your taxonomy is, how mature it is in terms of relevancy, what content types are tagged in topics. Like you can have a small set of widgets made available in the beginning for your MVP, and as you grow, as you start learning more, or you start fixing your processes to be able to use those widgets well, what integrations you have. Like you could choose, and I don't recommend that, but you could choose to not start with AI search in the beginning and bring AI search as a secondary step. So there are multiple ways to define a small MVP. Um, we covered all these 9 and potentially more in this academy session for multi-phase deployment. And we literally gave the crawl, walk, run approach, like you see as an example over here, and what factors you would consider as you are thinking about where you would want to lie for your MVP. So look at that, and then you will probably give you you'll get a better picture of how you can approach your crawl, walk, run. The main point on this slide is that um, don't don't try to shake the world, or don't try to have a big bang approach. Think of a very small MVP that you can pilot your employee center deployment with and look to scale. So the faster you're able to do this, the faster you will get value. So the next point is how you would design. So let's say you do have your MVP defined and you know what you want to achieve. The question is, how would you design the um, the the experience that is available on it? So ServiceNow recommends a human-centered design approach, which is basically focused in on the customer, on the employee, and you are literally solving what you want to design with the users. And this is an example of what that process would look like. So you would start with just asking questions. You would define it, you would co-create it, you would validate it, and you're kind of doing this again. Um, this is one of the methodologies that our design team, our central design team, we call it the Workflow Design Studio, they shared, and they shared lots of other design tips and tricks in the academy session that we are highlighting over here. So I would highly recommend you to go through that. In this academy session, we also covered taxonomy design, and how you can design a good employee-centric taxonomy, and test it out well. So I recommend you to go through this as you start thinking about your design approach. Having said that, what Employee Center has resolved is it comes with pre-designed. There is an out-of-box experience that um, is based on actual research that we conducted across organizations, um, and it's ready to go. So, as your first MVP, you could potentially underinvest in redesigning the portal completely and stay out of the box. And we have so many customers. We have over 2,000 customers on Employee Center, and they are all they are all, not all, a majority of them actually are staying out of box predominantly. Um, and that is because the out of box experience is good enough. So for your MVP, maybe you do want to stick out of box, and as you deploy it, as you get more metrics, as you start evaluating the value you are getting, you may want to make some tweaks to it as your phase two, but it doesn't have to be that for your phase one. The next one that I want to highlight is it is a change. It is a change. It's a new portal. Um, it is changed from employees because it's a new portal. It's a new experience. There's a new they anything that they were accustomed to. It's probably not going to be there. Like it's going to be at a different place. So you do have to invest in change management. And what you see over here is an entire rollout plan that our ServiceNow's internal digital technology team took when we rolled out our internal portal. And when you would go through these bullets over here, you would see aligned executive sponsors, 4 weeks to go live, CEO posted inside now. Um, Senior leadership talking about this with their employees. Um, there's a newsletter coming out. There's there's a go live post by director of digital experience. What it is saying, there is a lot of top down communication. It builds excitement. It gets attention from everyone that there is something new and different coming. Half the battle for managing change is resolved if we can create excitement on the change. So take this as an example and use it on like your own rollout plan. Um, Additional to this, what I would mention is uh, think about how you name it. I've seen organizations run campaigns to name this experience, and they actually involve their users or their employees to think of a name that would resonate with them, and they literally name their portal based on what they hear. So this is all that I'm talking about from an employee change perspective. But it is a lot of change from your stakeholder perspective as well. These departments that are accustomed to working in silos suddenly have to work with a set central team. The content authors who were tagging their content to categories now have to think about how does their content align with their topics. Or there are topic managers who are brand new and thinking about what content is available. So there is a lot of change from a stakeholder perspective as well. Communication authors, again, are using a whole different experience to create communications. So definitely invest in educating and training your stakeholders and your backend agents or content authors. And for this, there's a lot of material available on just Employee Center. On Now Learning, there's actually a course called Employee Center Essentials that will get them started. But at the same time, you will probably have to invest a little bit more on your own end, depending on what experience you have created. Um, so um, um, I have seen organizations create like short snipper videos and share it with their stakeholders to train them on like what certain functionalities do in the organization in the portal. So there are two aspects of the change in summary. One is managing the change from an employee perspective. The other is managing change from your back-end stakeholder perspectives, making sure whoever is working to create that experience for the employee is aligned and is able to work this in this new area of this new style of working. The next one, I've been talking about metrics in multiple different places, and I want to highlight some of the dashboards that are available out of box for you. And not a lot of people know about this, but you have user experience analytics. We did an Academy session on this as well, and we can dig it up and share it on chat. Um, this literally helps you do a behavioral analysis on the portal. You can see where people started, their journey on the portal. Let's say they went on the homepage, they decided to search from there, they didn't find what they wanted from search, and they came back to a topic page. Something like that, you can literally create maps of their journey. You can see how many people are actually getting to a content item tagged in one of the third layer or fourth layer topic pages. Uh, such things like that. So it's really powerful tool to do behavioral analysis. And this is what I was saying, having a UX expert in place to make sure you are setting like the right metrics, you're using this tool well, and you're able to use the metrics that you are capturing in this tool to actually make enhancements in your portal. Having a UX expert do that will be super helpful. Then we also have additional tools to do content analysis, and this content over here is communication content. So if you're running campaigns, you want to know how successful your campaigns have been. You have like emails going out, you have banner images. You can actually see what channel is more successful, how many views you are getting. This is super powerful when you are doing things like major campaigns like benefits enrollment or like leadership announcements and so on. The third dashboard is the dashboard that I was talking about from a business case assessment perspective. So we have it for ITSM and HRSD pre-configured with like metrics for executives, which would literally do a summary of things like how much improvement in self-service we have made, how much we are saving, how much call deflection we are getting, um, and so on. And then from a process owner perspective, they can take that big level metrics and see all the other metrics that process level metrics that are influencing it and drill deeper into issues or things that they can do to like make that hierarchy metric move. So we'll share details of these. Please do take a look at these. These are super powerful tools to literally help you take a data-driven approach. So last but not the least, like I mentioned, this is just one of the webinars that the product team does. We have a lot of different resources to help you get started, or like make sure you are successful in your deployment. One is the employee center deployment office hours. For those of you who are currently deploying or who are planning to deploy, I highly recommend this. Like this is an open-ended Q&A forum. I lead this, but I don't come with any presentation. It is just that, okay, I'm here, let's ask me some questions. And you all get a chance to ask questions verbally, but also on the Q&A panel. So it's a great way to ask questions from the product team. And when I say product team, we also have engineers and designers on the call there to help answers, even if you have a little bit of technical question. The focus topics for these office hours are migration. So if you're moving from service portal to employee center, even if you're upgrading from employee service center to employee center pro, um, building the taxonomy, design tips, all of those are covered in the deployment office hour. For a little bit more of deep dive engagement, like today you saw like it was a little bit of brush through of all the hierarchy topics that would be important for your success. We do academy sessions that go a level deeper. So I touched upon a couple of academy sessions today, but there are additional ones that are also available for you to view, even though they have been completed. We do these monthly, and this month's webinar, academy session, which is going to be tomorrow, is focused on conversational interfaces. So we have very deep integrations with Microsoft Teams. We are expanding that relationship, and we are also having relationships with applications like Zoom, and we will be just talking about those different details and also showcasing how to configure them. So please attend those if you are interested, especially in Microsoft Teams. Then we also do roadmap webinars. I know roadmap is an important thing for you to know because you don't want to customize anything that you may have um, like that may be upcoming in a future release. So being plugged in with the roadmap webinar can help you really minimize technical debt. By the way, in these roadmap webinars, we also do product demos. We also have customers show up and share their portal um, or their employee center implementation. So it's a good way to get plugged in. We just finished these. We had them last week, and we will be back next quarter. Most likely in September, we will be sharing dates and links for this on the same page that this URL takes you to. Last but not the least, if you are invested in content experiences, this is essentially our employee communications capabilities. We have a separate office hour for that also because it's a big topic and people have a lot of different questions. And like for those who are new, it can be a little bit of a longer learning curve. So please attend this if you have any questions around actionable banners, campaigns, microsites, or governance. All right, this is all I had in terms of content. You can see links for these on chat. Please let me know if there are any other questions. Any question from the Q&A panel that I should take?
No, Pooja. Looks like Smriti has already answered them.
Okay, awesome. I'll wait for a couple more minutes. If there's anyone who wants to raise hand and ask their question, we are open for that. Other than that, thank you so much. All right, I'm seeing no questions. Thank you so much. Have a great rest of your day. And please reach out to us if you have any feedback and take the survey. Thank you.